Goal setting and progress. Welcome to the module on goal setting with your participants and tracking their progress. This portion of the training is meant to guide you through the initial goal setting with your participants, as well as alterations in that goal as the program progresses. Additionally, I will help you understand how to use our goal menu as a tool to create small, attainable goals with your participants. I will go through an example of goal setting throughout this module. As a reminder, this program focuses on identifying small, measurable goals for healthier living. The participants will choose goals based on the areas they identified that need improvement. Goals will be focused in one of the following areas: physical activity, healthy eating, weight management, and health maintenance. These goals will be small, measurable steps for long-term change. As a wellness coach, we are merely here to facilitate a discussion of possible areas of improvement and support the participant on their journey to a healthier lifestyle. Again, the participants will ultimately choose their own goals. We will discuss how a goal will be identified and created on the next slide. As a wellness coach, the first step in identifying a possible area of improvement for your participant is to get to know them. Before your first call, you must read their assessment form that was provided to you. In this assessment, he or she provided information on their health, physical activity, and diet. At the bottom of this assessment, there's a diagram indicating the participant's readiness for change in the following categories: make healthier food choices, overeat less often, get physically active more often, and be physically active for a longer period of time. This is a great place to start to identify an area the participant is willing to make a change in. Here's an example of the diagram assessing the participant's readiness for change. In this example, the participant is willing to get physically active more often, but is unsure if they can make healthier food choices or overeat less often. While these are areas that still need improvement, the participant seems to be more interested in becoming active. The next slide will discuss how to use the rest of the participant's assessment to identify an area in need of improvement in physical activity. Our participants showed an interest in getting physically active more often. Using their assessment, we can look at the section titled Physical Activity. An example of this section can be seen on the slide. In this section, the participant identified physical activity they enjoy doing, how often they do this activity, whether they use a fitness tracker or not, and how many times they took the stairs yesterday. Our example participant enjoys walking and dancing, but only does so for about 15 minutes on the weekends. They do not use a fitness device to track their activity, and they do not use the stairs because it takes too much time. Already, I hope you're thinking of a few areas that may need improvement. If you haven't, think about it for the next few seconds. The participant is only active on the weekends, and they rarely use the stairs. While he or she does not use a fitness device to track their activity, this is not a great area to set a goal in. Fitness trackers cost money, and we cannot expect our participants to pay for one. Instead, the other area should be our goal focus. To recap, in our example, the participant is willing to become physically active more often and likes to walk and dance, but only does so on the weekends. They are also rarely take the stairs because they are usually running late to work and it would take too much time. Our next step before contacting our participant is to take a look at the goal menu and highlight possible goals for our participants. The goal menu is a resource for our wellness coaches to create SMART goals. SMART goals will be explained on the next slide. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Feel free to use this diagram during your conversation with your participants to make sure the goal you are creating fits SMART goal criteria. However, before your first call, you will have already identified some SMART goals using the goal menu that are pertinent to your participants. These identified goals from the goal menu will be useful for participants who are unsure of where to start or would like help creating a goal. Remember, some participants will already have a goal in mind. That's great. You can help this participant modify the goal to make sure it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. On the next slide, we will discuss using the goal menu to identify SMART goals that are relevant to your participant before the first call. I encourage you to open up your goal menus to follow along. Our example participant showed a readiness to change in increasing their physical activity. In the goal menu, the first section is titled Get Active. This section discusses the benefits of activity as well as example SMART goals focused on exercise, activity, and tracking activity. As you read through the goal menu, there are lots of helpful tips on making time for exercise, tracking exercise, and more. Example SMART goals in this section, Get Active, can be seen on the slide. Before the first call, it is important to highlight potential goals for your participant. Additionally, keep the goal menu open during your conversation. It can be used as a resource to create SMART goals with your participant. Now that we have identified possible goals for our example participant, we are prepared for our first call. Remember, we have an idea of areas of improvement he or she could focus on based on their assessment, but we want to let the participant guide the conversation. It is important to begin the goal setting conversation with an open-ended question about areas in need of improvement. For example, what are some areas in need of improvement that you are wanting to work on? Their ideas may be similar to the SMART goals you identified from reviewing their assessment, or they could be different. Either way, that's okay. On the next slide, we will discuss these two scenarios. Step 4 is to determine if the assessment goals you chose align with the goal they are hoping to focus on. If they align, awesome. Make sure the goal is in SMART goal format and have the participant write down their goal. You can then move on to the goal menu to find tips and tricks for the participant to help achieve their goal. If the goals do not align, again, that's okay. Discuss why this goal is important to the participant and be sure that it is in SMART goal format. For instance, if our example participant wanted to work on their water intake instead of physical activity, like we thought, then the wellness coach would use the goal menu to make sure their goal to increase water intake is a SMART goal. On the next slide, a SMART goal for our example participant can be seen. The identified goal for our example participant is, I am going to drink 3 glasses of water each day this week. As you can see, the goal fits the SMART goal criteria. It is now important to discuss possible challenges that may prevent them from achieving their goals and ways to overcome these challenges. For instance, a wellness coach may ask, what are some possible barriers that you may face in achieving your goals? Challenges may include forgetting to drink water, not having enough time to drink water, or craving drinks other than water. You can help identify ways to overcome these challenges. As you can see, this is an evolving conversation. It's important not to enter the first call with a script in mind. but just facilitate thinking and conversation between you and your participants. Finally, it's goal assessment time. After your first call, your participant will attempt to achieve their goal that week. You will communicate again 7 days after to see how they did achieving their goal. There are 4 possible ways to modify their goal. First, the participant can choose to keep their original goal. In this case, the participant was unable to accomplish the goal last week, but after discussion, they believe it's doable and can be accomplished within the next week. Another reason to keep their goal is because they accomplished this goal and want to continue this change. In this case, consider encouraging them to add another goal. This is a great way to challenge the participant to continue their new habits while also creating additional goals. Some participants will choose to modify their goals. Maybe last week's goal was accomplished, but they wanted to increase their goal from 3 glasses of water, maybe to 4 glasses of water, for example. Or maybe last week's goal was too difficult. There was no way they could drink 3 glasses of water for 7 days. So maybe they want to try and drink 3 glasses of water for 5 days. Again, it's a good idea to gauge how the participant feels they did. If they're feeling defeated, be sure to encourage them in their pursuit to achieve their goals. Remind them it's okay to modify their original goal, and this process is a marathon, not a sprint. Finally, the participant may want to replace their goal altogether. Maybe the goal was not a good fit for them for some reason, and they want to pick a new one. While we don't want to encourage this every week, it's okay to replace a goal and try something else once in a while. In our example, maybe drinking more water proved to be too easy, and they want to find a new goal centered around physical activity. At this point, they would use the goal menu to identify a SMART goal that is a good fit for them centered around physical activity. Remember, it's all about the participant. They signed up for this program because they wanted to make a lifestyle change. As a wellness coach, you are their support system. You should talk to them about their goals. Was it challenging? Was it easy? How can they improve? As this module concludes, I hope you have a better understanding of how to prepare for your first call with your participant, use the goal menu, create SMART goals, and assess the progress of the goals with your participant. The final slide has additional examples of areas of improvement, methods to target these areas, and how participants can track their goals. Take a few minutes to review any information before proceeding to the module quiz.